Welcome in, gang. Coach is pumped to have you. So, right on cue, we've had some more developments. So, basically, Coach wants to rewind a little bit and show you, don't forget, people told you UNC was going to be good. Coach told you they were going to suck, right? Bill was going to get ran out of town. There was going to be recruiting violations, something like that, right? So, here's a Skip Bayless tweet. Wow, Belichick has a national championship offense. Heels just shredded Frogs defense. Yeah, so if you remember, Bill's team went right down and scored right away. And, of course, the bottom is joking. I can't even be mad at this. Truly, you have to actually admire how bad this take aged Hall of Fame material, right? So this is, obviously there's no way UNC is going to win a national championship. They've already lost 3 games, right? But Coach commented on the Browns website, bad idea, right? But Coach said that Bill Belichick was going to save the Browns, and someone said, "Oh, God, I hope not. Have you seen how bad the Tar Heels are doing or whatever?" It's like, yeah, they have more wins than the fucking Browns. Did you know that? There's this fun stat for you. Did you know they've also scored more points, right? They had a game where they scored 40. Have the Browns even dreamed of scoring 40 points in a decade? All right, so there's that. Now, of course, everybody told, not everybody, I'm sure, but the majority of outlets were hyping up UNC. Right, they wanted you to believe that Bill would do well with UNC. Coach told you they would be terrible. And now they are doing terrible. They want to use that as evidence to why he can't now coach the team I told you he was going to coach after he did terribly, right? So, of course, he's going to be a better coach for the fucking Browns. So why is he not succeeding in college, right? So, in the words of Eminem, Bill Belichick is not Mr. Friendly. Okay, and we're talking about college kids, which have always had a reputation for being a little tough to handle, right? You got to coddle them a little bit. Bill doesn't play any of that shit, right? This isn't where he wanted to be. He never thought he'd be in fucking college. He only settled for UNC because his dad coached there, right? But he doesn't want to be in college. He was just hoping this was a stepping stone. But for what? His heart's not fully in it. But secondly, I don't think Bill Belichick ever works in college, but definitely not in 2025. 2025 college students, right? Imagine the weird fucking terms and shit they're throwing on the weird. So they're talking about a toxic locker room, right? He's got a toxic culture. The coach that just screams they're fucking soft. They can't handle getting criticized or yelled at. Right, it's like, "Oh, you called me a pussy, that's sexist, right? You hate women." He's probably hearing the wackest shit, and these guys literally think they can stand on it because the whole fucking university's gonna have their back all the way up the ladder, or they're gonna lose all their fucking federal funding, right? And Coach Belichick, he's used to being able to just blackball whole teams, right? They're all criticizing him because he's saying you can't talk about the Patriots, you can't talk about Drake May on social media, right? All that sort of stuff. That wouldn't be an issue, typically, right? If he was coaching the Browns and said, "We don't fuck with the Patriots," right? Nobody would care, but it's because these kids want to go to the pros. And he's probably like, "Fuck that. You got to focus on, pros? You can't even win games." You know what I mean? None of y'all are going to the fucking Patriots. You kidding me? Look at you. Some shit like that. Who knows? So Coach just says it's just not the right environment. Neither wants the other. Neither is made for the other. It was a publicity stunt gone wrong from the beginning. So it was doomed to fail. Okay, and also, Bill Belichick, he's known as being ruthless, basically, and just completely just all business, right? So if there's anything you do he doesn't like even a little bit, you're gone. Right, he'll just go out and replace you or whatever. But now he's in a league to where they got this super convoluted system. There's scholarships and all this other stuff involved. You can't just cut somebody and then go make a trade, right, for draft picks. None of that exists, right? Even if you get a player, okay, he might be eligible this time next year. You know what I mean? There's no way to solve an immediate problem. He always was able to, wheeling and dealing was what Belichick's strength was. He was a GM and a coach, so he was always able to keep them competitive by being ahead of the curve, cutting players loose, before they, as soon as their best football's behind them, right? Or as soon as they're doing anything that doesn't fit the culture or doesn't fit the scheme, right? Anything they do that's not fully buying in, just get rid of them, right? But, he's got guys that are on this team that are bigger than him, right? I'm sure, because you got boosters, you got all sorts of other stuff that are invested in these kids, and they all think they know what's, there's just so much more involved in the college game that Bill's not a politician, right? The best college coaches are usually like the best politicians, right? And everybody's got their own style. Bob Knight being more like a tyrant, probably be the closest to the college version of Bill Belichick. But, Knight couldn't have his way in today's college league either. And, he walks in with his young girl. He thinks, like, all the dudes are going to respect it. Like, thinking they're going to want to be 7 years. Like, look what you could be. Instead they're just like, ew, you're a predator. She could be like my sister.